Hi, my name is Rick Batista, and I'm here with Zfrank, dear friend and partner in the school street social events that we've been putting on. I just wanted to talk a little bit about how School Street Social came about and get to know Zach a little bit more. So I first met Zach last August, I think it was, at the Roscoe Village Porch Fest that the Lakeview Roscoe Village Chamber of Commerce was putting on. I decided to, host some musicians on our porch, and he and Ellen Miller were playing. I think that you guys were the last set. You guys put on an awesome performance, and I started following you on social media, and we ended up reconnecting in the wintertime, and I think it was back on March 8th or something like that. I was looking at my calendar, which I'm kind of shocked we were able to put the first event together in just a couple months. But back in March, we met up at the Heritage Bicycle Center on Lincoln Avenue. The shop, coffee shop there. And we started talking about putting on a community event, and I had a vision of something to bring the community together. Probably provide some sort of food, because food is always, music and food are kind of the international love languages. And you had a concept of maybe turning this into a charity event where we can raise some money for some good causes, and we tossed that around some more, and we started talking about how could we get musicians, and maybe giving them an opportunity to test out their performances or some of their live songs in front of an audience and stuff, and asking them to share their time and talent. Instead of making it a paid gig, but actually helping raise money and bring awareness to some things. We put on 3 shows so far. We got our last one of the season coming up on September 3rd, this Saturday. And I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the origins and stuff. And what do you recall when I first called you and tossed this idea around?
Yeah. Well, you reached out to me at a really interesting time where I was just making a transition to kind of full-time focusing on music, because I was working as a software engineer. Like, maybe it was even before you reached out, before we met up, and I had quit my job and I was focused on music, and I was kind of focusing on what my vision was for this path I was on. And part of that vision was to get way more involved in the local music scene here in Chicago, and just like become a part of that community and just meet people and see where that could go, and just and get into that. And so when you reached out to me and I met up with you and we started talking through your vision for this event that you wanted to do, I saw a great opportunity for myself to kind of use this event as fuel for me to get out into the community, meet people, so that I could book these shows, especially if, we talked about having 4 people play for each show. And so, I had to start getting out there and meeting a lot of people and seeing who's out there. So that was really cool for me. And I don't know if you necessarily, had the intention of partnering, in the beginning. I think you were maybe, from my perspective, you were just kind of looking for some advice on how to manage the music side of things.
Yeah.
Or maybe, you were just kind of, tossing me a little, seeing if I would take the bait and go ahead and volunteer. And I did. If so, kudos to you for being super subtle.
The salesman in me.
Yeah.
No, I honestly, I needed some help and guidance, because I love music, but I'm not a musician at all. So I just needed some help, booking the talent and stuff like that, and it evolved into something else. But
yeah, well, it just kind of, I don't know, and it kind of speaks to when you quit doing the wrong things in your life, or relatively wrong things in your life, and start focusing on like what truly aligns with you, things start to really align. You just reached out to the right person at the right time, someone who was looking to kind of do exactly what, that missing piece that you needed. And so that was really cool. I thought, I was just like, and I've been doing literally these visioning meditations and maybe some writing exercises about getting into the Chicago music community. And so I think that kind of put me into that mindset of looking for those opportunities. And so I reached out. I said, this is exactly what I need to do in order to bring that vision into my life. And I did. I started going to open mics regularly. I started meeting people. I made some new friends, and it was also good for me, obviously, to start playing my own original songs in front of a crowd and awesome. learning about myself and my ability to perform and perfecting that.
Yeah. The constant evolution of perfecting our trade.
Constant, right?
Where are some of the places you've gone to check out performers, like for open mic? Hex is one of them, right?
Yeah, so Hex is kind of an under the radar one. There's this coffee shop called Hex, and they're at like Clybourne.
Damon Diverse and Clybourne.
Yep, that 6-way intersection there. Really cool space.
Yeah.
Coffee and beer, and I think even cocktails. So they're kind of open morning to night.
Yeah. Good pastries, good sandwiches.
Pastries, yeah, super cool. Yeah. Good pastries, sandwiches, cool vibe, huge patio. And Thursday nights, they have like a gypsy jazz band playing there, which is really cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I knew about it, but I was biking past there the other night and heard it. And I went to stop right as they were wrapping up their last song. So I really want to get over there because I love gypsy jazz. It's a cool vibe.
Yeah.
But they do this I think it's first Friday of every month. They do a little open mic that Jordan, one of the owners, runs. I think she had a baby recently, so they weren't able to get that together. You see, maybe this Friday they'll start doing it again because it's going to be the first Friday. But yeah, I started going to that, and I met some people. Sydney Richards, I saw her perform there, and she performed at our second installment.
Yeah.
School Street Social, and I know you loved her. I think she's great too. She's
awesome performance. I've checked her out on YouTube stuff, and it's been great. I've on Spotify, like I told you before, I was starting to put a playlist together of anybody who's on Spotify.
Yeah.
And just checking them out, in their YouTube channels or whatever other avenues, platforms that they're on. It's just really awesome to see some of their other work.
Totally, yeah, and in totally different context, right? Like a studio recording or whatever it might be. And her single that she released maybe in the last year or two called Green Bottles, she performed that at the open mic, she performed it at the show, and it was just literally playing over and over in my head for days.
Yeah, and the video's awesome too.
She had that professionally done. Around Chicago.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool, like super Chicago vibe. And so I would go to Hex, and that's only once a month. So I think the first one I went to was the Uncommon Ground open mic, which after doing some research online and trying to find the open mics in Chicago, like that seems to be like one of the big ones. The funny thing I'm starting to realize about open mics around Chicago, or probably any city, is they all kind of have their own thing. The Uncommon Ground, which is the one in Lakeview, their open mic, you play one song, which is not a lot, and especially it's kind of like a 3-hour event. So, but you're seeing that way they're kind of cycling through a lot of people, so you get to see a lot of people and a lot of different styles of music, and they turn it into a little bit of a competition where there's like a winner every night. And,
cool.
Yeah, I think the sound engineer just kind of chooses who he thinks was best, but he calls it, by applause-o-meter or whatever.
Yeah. If there's time to get to play a second song, or is just one song and that's it?
You know what? I think maybe if not a lot of people show up, they'll let you play a couple songs. But I don't think I've seen. I don't know. I don't think I've seen it where you play more than one song. But that's where I met a lot of our performers. Christian Caceres, who I think was going by Estacada. Nick Scarpinato, and Nick actually had won that contest that night. I had already been. I was like wowed by his performance.
Yeah, he's got a great energy.
Yeah, and his song, he's got this one like single what is that? I'm Not Broken. I'm Just a Little Broken In. The wordplay is so good. The vocals are great. And he's got some really cool harmony, like chords that he plays on that song. And it's just like, it's an instant classic.
Yeah.
So that was the song that was the one song he played.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we got to get this guy for school.
Yeah.
And then he won the contest, and then everyone flocked over to talk to him. And I was like, people, like, I wanted to leave. I was trying to go home, and I was like, I gotta talk to this guy, get the set up, and then go. And I'm literally waiting in line to talk to this guy.
So that was the first time you met him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he's definitely one of the most memorable performers that have graced our porch. So yeah. I'm glad you made that connection.
Yeah, and he lives not close. Like he,
like Aurora or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's right. Aurora or Peoria or somewhere. Yeah. So yeah, lucky he just happened to want to play a Chicago open mic that night.
Yeah.
And willing to come in for the School Street Social. Right?
Yeah. Probably a lot more opportunities to perform out here. It can help him find a place so he can perform more local gigs.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that'll be a problem for him.
Yeah. The two main elements of the School Street Social events was, number one, to make it an event with musicians, local musicians, and artists to perform, and provide some sort of entertainment for people, and not just for the Roscoe Village neighborhoods, but open it up to Chicago as well. We've been trying to advertise it as many places as possible.
Right.
And not just having friends or loved ones, family members of the musicians come, but just anybody who's walking by in the neighborhood, anybody who sees our ad and some sort of advertisement we're putting out there and wants to come and join us.
Right. Yeah. Anyone who's interested in local artists expressing their creativity, their music.
Yeah. Or even if they just like free ice cream and want to come and have some ice cream and the gravies, listen to some music. Yeah. But the School Street Social, not just to socialize, but to bring social awareness to some sort of cause, whether it is local or global. Mm-hmm. And the first one we did, which kudos to you again, that was obviously a hot topic, and it should still be, but we kind of have short attention spans now. But Ukraine, we ended up raising money for an organization that's helping people in need out in Ukraine after the things they've been going through with the war with Russia. And in July's event, we raised some money for local veterans. Mm-hmm. Last month in August, we raised money for Sandy Hook Promise, which is a great organization, helping to try and eliminate gun violence against kids. Mm-hmm. And then this coming month in September, we're going to be raising money for Gilda's Club Chicago, which is a great organization, which I obviously knew of Gilda Redner, but I knew that she had passed away from cancer. But I did not know that there was an organization named in her honor. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of doing a Google search looking for a next organization to donate to. I was definitely trying to, for some reason, I wanted to, find something that impacted everybody. Cancer is certainly one of them. I'm sure every single person on this planet has either gone through it, themselves or with a family member or a friend. I lost somebody to cancer, sadly. And just coming across this, and I was a huge fan of Gilda Radner when I was a kid, loving comedy and being Saturday Night Live. Obviously, I was born the same year it came out, but watching reruns and stuff like that, and I just found her to be such a hilarious comedian, and it was just a calling. We need to raise money for this cause here in this organization. So I'm really looking forward to this event, and I'm actually going to be meeting up with the gentleman who helps run the organization and doing a little bit of interview with him later on today, so we can get that posted as well. But I really wanted to thank you, Zach, for coming up with that element of raising money for a charitable cause, because it just kind of ties everything together.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that kind of speaks to the intersection of you kind of have, again, you kind of start with this vision, bring another person into it, and then you kind of get these other perspectives, and you know, like the whole thing just grows into something new and organic, and
the brainstorming session always helps.
Yeah.
You know,
and I gotta say, you know, I did think, you know, maybe we can turn this into like a charity thing. And I was taking a walk with my brother-in-law and their Great Dane, and I mentioned that to him, and he's like, "Yeah, you can raise money for Ukraine." And I was like, "You know what? I didn't even think of that." And it was like, it was so obvious to me as soon as he said it. I was like, "Of course we can! Like, that's exactly what we're gonna do."
Yeah.
So I got to give him credit for at least, you know, the idea to raise money for Ukraine. And I actually had a friend show up to that show who is Ukrainian, and his parents were in Ukraine, and his mom and sister literally fled Ukraine, went to, I think they went to either Poland or Germany, and then to Israel, or maybe they went to Israel first and they were trying to get over to Germany. And I literally hadn't seen him in months because he just couldn't leave the house. You know, he and I usually will go play pool together, we'll play chess, we'll grab drinks, but he just couldn't. You know, he and his wife, like, who was also Ukrainian, they like, it was a rough time for them, you know. His parents were in Ukraine, and he didn't know on a day-to-day basis whether they were still alive. I mean, that's, you know, that's insane to me. And so, you know, I think it was really nice to see him there, and for him to come out and see that people care, you know, like the people in his community, you know, he's here, he lives here, he works here, and to see that we care, and that we care enough to put a whole event on, and you know, raise money to help people, to literally help people exactly in the situation of his mom and his sister. And unfortunately his dad is still there. But
he was fighting, wasn't
he? His dad, I don't think he was fighting. His dad, I think he might have owned a shop or something, and kind of shut it down. I'm not sure. It was a town that, I might mess this all up, but it was a town that was responsible for like water, maybe water filtration, or and I think you know, Russia, it was kind of a key strategic town for Russia to take over, so that they can get water flowing to, I think, Crimea. I think controlled water to Crimea. So yeah, and so that's where his dad is, just kind of like holding out, you know. Hoping everything's okay, but
well, hopefully everything works out for that whole situation altogether. But I hope everything works out for his family, and they come out and they can live and tell the story.
Absolutely.
You know, I guess raising money for a good cause, you know, what kind of good feelings does it give you to be able to do that? And maybe we can have a little bit of a comical moment here, but you know, when we first started talking, we said we were trying to figure out how much money should we make our goal to be, and I don't know if it was you or me, but the first number we threw out there was $1,500.
Yeah, something like that.
And then I said, "Oh, hold your horses. Let's be a little bit more modest here." We put it down 1,000, and then after we had met, you know, my wife told me, "Oh, you know, let's be a little bit more reasonable here." And so our first event, you know, so we made our goal to be 500, and that's one thing that we definitely need to work on. And I think the performers have been great. You know, the ice cream has been awesome. Turnouts have been, you know, pretty good. You know, last month was our greatest turnout yet. I'm really looking forward to, you know, a good turnout this month. But the raising money portion is something that we're definitely working on.
Yeah, I mean, well, I couldn't imagine, you know, people wouldn't be flocking this event with like local musicians, free ice cream, and just throwing their money at us.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's get that cash, and $1,500 should be no problem.
Yeah.
And I guess we talked it down to 1,000. And then when you're like, all right, I posted it and it was 500, I was like, what happened, man? But yeah, I think it's a little bit more reasonable, especially in hindsight. But
yeah, I mean, the most. Well, last month we raised, I think we crept closer to 400. You know, it was like I want to say, like, I got to look at the totals because we had the whole social media issue. So I had it on Instagram, then I had it on Facebook, and then my wife posted it on Facebook. And but collectively, I think we ended up having like around 350-ish or something like that.
Oh, that's great. I didn't see the final numbers.
Yeah.
Cool.
But haven't
stepping it up.
We're going up. We're going up. And the first one we had like 245 or something like that. So
At 250,
and 250 the second one, I think so. So definitely going in the right direction. But I'm really hoping, you know, that, again, cancer is something that's just absolutely awful and impacts everybody in some way, shape, or form. And you know, this is such a great organization that helps not only people who are living with cancer, but it helps, you know, loved ones and family members too, to help cope with everything that comes along with someone having cancer. So really hoping that it's going to be a better turnout, because it's a great cause. It's a, you know, a local charity, and it should hit home for everybody, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, hopefully we get some return, you know, people returning. You know, we've done this 3 times already, so people know what to expect. People know it's here. And then, you know, each time we definitely do a little bit of a plug for the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have four great artists next time, and they seem to be promoting. Everyone's promoting, so.
Yeah, Cole's been doing an awesome job. Gilda's club has been doing an awesome job, and they put it out to their sphere and their newsletters and stuff like that. So
that's great.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And you know, we've been getting a lot of great feedback from neighbors and stuff. You know, just that people have come to the last 2 or 3 shows, and you know, some people have come to every show.
Yeah.
And just saying how, you know, it's fun, and they really appreciate us putting on these events and stuff. So yeah, it's something nice and casual to do on a Saturday afternoon.
Totally, it's a great event. I mean, like, it's such a great event. Music and free ice cream, like, it's insanely awesome event.
So going back in history a little bit, you know, one time that we talked, and actually the first time that we met, I realized that our friendship, our partnership kind of goes back a couple of generations, because you're the grandson of, what was his name? Was it Zach also?
No, so his name was Zolly.
Yeah. So Zfrank, which if anybody is a local Chicagoan and been here for a while, Zfrank was probably the biggest car dealership in the north side of Chicago on Western Avenue. Where did it start? Like at Peterson, or?
I believe it started on Western.
But like at Peterson and Western, or I forget it.
I think it started at 6116.
So right after Peterson, yeah.
Western.
Yeah.
It moved around a little bit, but yeah, it didn't stray too far. It was always kind of in that general area.
Yeah.
Largest Chevy dealership in the world, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
There's some cool, like, vintage photos of the you know, the whole, what did they call it? They called it like Frank Row or Frank City or something.
Yeah.
You drive down Western.
And you gotta share some photos with me.
For sure.
As my grandfather, when he came from Cuba back in the 60s, and he was a Chevy guy. So he bought his first. I'm pretty positive he bought his first car there. I know all the cars that I remember were all purchased at Zfrank.
Yeah.
Seeing the little sticker in the back window. Was it like a horseshoe, or maybe I'm thinking of something else? But I remember seeing like the little Zfrank stickers in the back window. Yeah.
Well, so it's funny that you say that. Ask if it was a horseshoe. The standard stickers for a Zfrank car was the Chevy chevron.
Yeah.
The symbol for Chevrolet, and it said Zfrank in there. But my grandfather was obsessed with horseshoes, so maybe that was like maybe there was. I mean, if you have a photo of that somewhere, I would love to see it.
I don't know if we do. My mom probably has a bunch of photos that I can look through.
Yeah, he was big fan of like 4-leaf clovers, and he was a bit superstitious. Yeah.
Okay.
13 was not a number that he wanted anywhere near him.
Yeah. So good thing when none of our shows are on the 13th, there was the first Saturday of the month. But yeah, I mean, just my memories of either my grandfather or my parents going to, buy a Chevrolet at Zfrank, that's one of my first childhood memories. So, and I just found that to be a pretty awesome connection,
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's funny because that's a really common, story that I hear, even from people that don't live here now, but maybe used to live in Chicago.
Yeah.
Somehow that comes to the surface that, that my grandfather was Zfrank. And sometimes, I go by Zfrank as an artist, musician. That's the name I'm going by. Thanks to him.
Yeah. It's known locally.
I mean, when I played at Hex, actually, I think maybe the owners at Hex, Jordan and her husband, mentioned, I think I may have said something explicitly, and they were like, yeah, I was thinking in my head when you said Zfrank, I thought about the car dealership, and I didn't, I thought it was just a coincidence, but I don't know. I guess there's, when I sign up for like services and I try to make my username Zfrank, sometimes it's taken. So I guess I'm the only Zfrank out there. So someone could be like, I'm Zfrank, and I have no relation to Zfrank Chevrolet. But for me, I'm like, yeah, of course it's, who else would be my grandfather? Whatever. Yeah. Of course, the connection is pretty
awesome.
It's funny. Yeah, but a lot of people end up saying, it's a common story. Their first car was from Zfrank. They knew my grandfather. It kind of gives me the sense that he was kind of he was a well-known guy around Chicago. Right?
Oh yeah.
He started selling cars in 1936, and
wow.
And the dealership went to my father. He sold it around 2008 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The market was on the downturn, and but it was a good run, and it's been around for a long time. That's a long
very long time.
Yeah,
very long time.
It was a staple. Big Chicago staple. Giant neon sign. It was pretty iconic.
Yeah, I remember.
It's sold for scrap now. We try to get it sold, like donated to a
Smithsonian or something.
Some sign museum, so probably exists somewhere in the Midwest or something. But it was just too big. I mean, it's a giant sign.
Oh, before we wrap up here, are there any other projects you have going on, or any projects or any shows coming up that you wanted to plug?
Yeah, well, as far as nothing I can really plug as far as playing live. Just open mics here and there, and just focusing on playing our shows, the School Street Social. Live playing is not my. I'm practicing. Just like working on my live, performance at home. But I'm in the studio right now working on my first album.
Nice. Very cool.
Which is a long time coming. I'm literally putting out some of the first songs I wrote, which were back in circa 2008, 2009, and even prior to that. Took me a long time to kind of get the guts to put my music out there. One of the songs happens to be called Taking Chances, and so I decided, that's probably a good name for the album itself. So I like take a chance, put myself out there, and that's what I'm working on. It's probably about 6 songs. Maybe you could call it an EP. Working on that. Hopefully it'll be out within the next 6 to 12 months. I think we're on track for that. So
awesome. Well, congrats. Proud of you.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. Well, I will definitely see you this Saturday around 1 o'clock, set up for the show. And definitely looking forward to planning in the off season of see how we can improve for next year. Definitely have some notes that we've been throwing back and forth, and we're looking forward to just making this as kind of a staple of Chicago as well, and seeing where this path takes us.
Yeah, the next Zfrank Chevrolet.
Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Zach. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
and enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you in a few days.
Sounds good, man.
All right, take care.